We are now live.
Garage. There you go. Well, we have one person.
Oh, let's see. We have a special guest today. Just waiting for Justin from GarageAthlete to join. Just one moment. Yeah, invited.
Let's see. We're waiting for Justin to join us today. It's going to be our first live with a guest, which is something we're going to be doing more moving forward.
Yeah, we want to run interviews, chats with people that use ErgZone.
Yeah, and there's going to be an opportunity for the coaches and businesses and athletes that use ErgZone to talk about themselves. Apparently, Justin couldn't join. Hold on. This live, being live is fun. Okay.
There you go.
Hey,
There you go. Hey.
hi guys.
Hey, Justin, can you hear us?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, like
Perfect.
that's such a weird thing. Like, right, every single time you go live with someone, like, can you hear me?
Well,
It's
yeah. Because how many times did you go live with someone and it wasn't working?
Yeah.
yes, right. It's funny. That's our very first live ever with a guest. So I hope everything works well here. And so here I am taking something from your book from the chat you used to have, and very technological. Here we go today.
That's good.
Today we have guys. So my printer isn't very good. You see, I need a new one,
That's
but it
fantastic.
works.
You can hang that up too. Look at that. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so people know what we're doing here, and I want to make it very clear that nothing here is scripted. We're gonna chat with Justin. Um,
Yeah, we haven't talked in a long
we
time too,
yeah,
so this is great.
it's like it's make it live, make it
Yeah,
real.
if you create all this production, right? You train, you test how to speak and do all that. Like it never goes right. You just go
No,
live and do it
just
live.
just have a
Yeah,
conversation and
that's it.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Justin, thank you for chatting with us. We've been trying to do that since last week, and the timing didn't match. So that's why it was a last minute. Hey guys, we're gonna be live. But anyways, people can watch
Yeah,
later.
that's
The
fine.
whole point here is chat, and just we want to give you the opportunity to talk a little about what you do and then how we work together. So let me introduce. So here, Thais and Gabriel for ErgZone and Justin Farina for GarageAthlete today. So Justin, tell us a little bit about Justin Farina, the athlete,
Oh,
the coach, and GarageAthlete. Give someone that doesn't know you the reason to learn about what you do.
oh man. Okay. The big story. Well, I got into fitness seriously in probably 2005. So coming out of university, I played baseball in Division One, and I was home. I was recently recovering from Tommy John surgery, and starting to explore the gym environment and whatnot. And I discovered CrossFit kind of on a just on off a random magazine in '05, and that got me really into fitness per se, and then from there it kind of blossomed into working with people later on in my garage in 2008 once I was married and we had a space, and that's where I finally got my first rowing machine in 2008, and then continued to train in CrossFit, got really heavily into indoor rowing probably around 2016, 2017. And at that point, I was working with people in my garage, um, and right around, gosh, I don't even remember the years now. It might have been around 2017. We were just getting ready to have our third child, or maybe we did, and it was like I can't do this individual training anymore. I can't work with groups. I can't work in the garage. It's just not going to happen. And I asked my wife, she's like, "Hey, what do you think if I start a website?" I had done some online training with people, and I really liked the setup. I liked the platform. I was like, I think I could maybe do this and utilize this. I was like, "Hey, can I set up a Squarespace site?" It's like $400 or whatever. And she was like, "Absolutely not. I don't think this is gonna work. It's not worth the money." She wasn't probably that like rude about it. I didn't think it was a great idea, but she let me try, and I mean, it worked out. And it started kind of then with just indoor rowing, um, and as numbers picked up, and as Concept 2 started to, launch more machines. I think I got my first skier right around then, and then they had the biker come in kind of shortly after that, if my memory serves me correct. And every time I would like add a new program or add a new plan, we would just slowly build on that. So it was rowing, and then it was rowing and skiing, and then it was row, ski, and bike, and then it was a little bit of GPP work, and then there was I think the Echo bike may have launched kind of shortly in there as well. We got into fan bike stuff, and then as your app came online, and you guys were in the kind of the early days of GarageAthlete too, that spawned into a lot more opportunities in terms of programming, especially with the mixed modal stuff, the ergathlon stuff. So what started as kind of a side project kind of morphed into, I don't even know how many workouts I program every week now. It's got to be pushing 60.
It's crazy.
Across a lot of different machines and modalities and whatnot. So that was kind of where GarageAthlete came from, and obviously it really sort of peaked when the world sort of shut down in 2020, 2021. And that's when the idea of our game sort of kicked in. So there had been a few online competitions up to that point. Road Royalty was popular. I'm trying to think of anything else that might have been happening at that time. There might have been a few other Pro Series, yeah. But there was nothing for all three machines, and there wasn't a platform where that was even possible. And that's where you guys came in. And I think the first thing we did was launch the games as a kind of an inter squad competition in 2020. Now, I don't know if that was when you were even testing the whole thing, or had you already sort of established? I can't remember if we did it. I didn't think I was ready to like put it out to people because I wanted to see just kind of how it would run. So we left it in house that first.
Yeah. I love that you said it kind of happened. It's kind of us too, like kind of happened. It doesn't mean we don't, eventually it wasn't a bigger plan that we had, but it wasn't something that we sat down and said, okay, let's make a business around ERGs.
Mm-hmm.
It was Gabriel. And I don't want to talk too much about ErgZone history here because we're going to chat in another time among ourselves just to explain, because it was very cool how we started. But one of the reasons.
Yeah, Justin, from people that don't know, he was the first coach, right, on ErgZone. So the first coach that we invited to the platform was you, Justin.
Yeah.
So you
So
helped like a lot to shape a lot of the features on ErgZone are based on you and your athletes, right? Giving feedback to us, like what we can improve this.
Yeah, and that's how it came to be, because at the time when they similar to Lauren, when Gary started ErgZone, we are both software developers, so I understand the job he was doing, but we had a 1-year-old. So, and then I was very upset that he was spending so much time with the computer, and just like, hey, we need to change diapers. And don't get me wrong, he was doing it. But you know what I mean? It's just like, you feel like, oh, it's so easy land with 2 kids. How are we going to do that? So And I remember he invited you to test the ErgZone, and ErgZone completely collapsed on you. You were the very first person who did any test. And he's like, what happened? So then we stopped, and he's like, okay, we got to step back. I'm going to redo this thing because there are a couple of minor things. I mean, he was only him using the app. And the very first
Yeah.
workout you created was a very edge case that the combination internally on the PM5 kind of messed the whole app. So it's just like, oh my goodness. So that's when he told me, I will need you to stop going to the gym and you need to start rowing. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. But I did. And then we kind of redid the whole thing. And then at the time, I reached out to you because
Yeah.
the reason we connected with you because Gabriel was paying you.
Yeah, I
He
was
was your
I was
athlete.
a member. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had access to the Facebook group. I would post my screenshots there,
Yeah.
talk to people, and
And
then
learn about things.
I hated. I'm sorry, but I hated the spreadsheets. Like that was I couldn't
Yeah. It's
understand like what do I do here? So as a programmer, a developer, like oh no, I can solve this by putting this on a program, and then I
yeah, you
just
did a great
you know
job of making it easier to manage, that's for sure. See, I
Yeah,
like
so
and I like that personally. I like and that maybe the teacher in me, it's like long range planning. Like I get okay, this is what the whole week looks like. This
yeah.
is, we added colors for kind of just a visual, like okay, in terms of intensity or whatever, but no, like
No, they
the app makes
complement
more
each
sense
other,
than a
right?
no,
Yeah,
giant
it's
spreadsheet.
but the
So
whole point,
yeah,
I mean, Gabriel is against spreadsheets and paper and printing and pens and stuff like that. You know, he's a lot more
yeah,
than I am. But that's interesting because, yeah, it's good. And a lot of people still use that means to communicate with athletes. You know,
hmm
that works. We know it works. You write something in some format and you send to them and they do it. And
yeah,
somehow they share with you what they've done. But the whole point I remember the early beginning was I understood what Gabriel was trying to fix because I had very little time to train
right,
and now I need to
right.
deal with the PM5. And that time ErgData did not program the machine, so nobody did what we're doing. It really changed how things were done
No,
on
you
Erg.
absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
why, like, I saw the value in that, like, almost immediately. Oh, this would be, you have this almost all-in-one platform where, okay, this is the day, this is the workout, connect, and ready to go. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so in on the early, and I remember the early, I was like, I can't convince this guy to stop what he's doing and load all those, I don't know, at the time was 20 workouts every week.
It
So I
wasn't that
remember,
many,
yeah,
because I
on
feel
the beginning,
like
I was
you
doing
did
for
it
it.
for a while.
yeah.
I did it. And then because, I mean, we
It
were
just
at that
got
point,
too much, and you're like, I can't do this. Like,
I'm
Yeah,
like,
when we started getting more people, right, more coaches in the
yeah,
platform, like she didn't have time to do that anymore. She had
no,
like to support
no,
people, right?
yeah.
yeah.
So, but it was a good beginning. So, so I guess you touched in another thing that we were going to ask is like how it changed for you. You know, like what changed having ErgZone and offer that to your athletes.
Um, well, two things. Um, for people that don't necessarily want to just kind of hunt and figure out what they're going to do. Like a lot of people just like the ease of, okay, the workouts are loaded, they're posted every week. I can, if I'm rowing today, I can go through them. I don't have to punch it because the PM5, it's not hard to use so long as you know what you're doing. Like for a lot of people early on, even setting um, like undefined rest is like tricky to them. Like which buttons do I press? How did I even know if I could take? I didn't even know I could get there or whatever. So ease of programming is a big thing, and just the fact that like with the website, and that's changing now. The only payment opportunity I had was through PayPal. Now it might be just being in Canada, and I know Squarespace is switching that now. Like they're opening up to Squarespace payments, so that'll change. Um, but a lot of people always were like, "Hey, could I pay, monthly? Do I have, can it be automatic? Can I use just my credit card?" I was like, "Well, listen, you prefer that method, that's fine." And I put it out to everybody. Like you can sign up through ErgZone. There's no difference that way. You still get the same access. It's a little bit easier for them as well. So I just think it provides people with an easier way of accessing the plan.
Yeah. And you as a coach, do you go to the website and look at some past results from some of your athletes, or like to maybe, oh, then I'm gonna create a new cycle, and then you kind of can see the results from previous cycles and kind of adjust, or it doesn't
So
matter for you?
well, this year's like part of my problem is, and this is my own fault, is I feel like I always need to change things. So like every year, I'm like this year we added like more cycles. I don't know. I guess I just like to have more work. So when I started, like basically I've been inputting a whole new calendar year of workouts. So really this year will serve as the kind of foundation for next. So when next year rolls around, I'll be able to kind of look at that data, and I think inputting stuff will be a lot easier as well. Knowing that like the week one workouts are basically already set, and now I can just sort of fine tune adjustments or fine tune pacing or take feedback from people in terms of, the intensity might have been too much, or, we need to fix the pacing on certain things. So, and that just comes from seeing the data and making notes of like, okay, we got to look at, this particular cycle or whatever. So that,
Yeah,
that part will be handy. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking about it because I remember I probably loaded more than a year of workouts for you, because I remember when we came back and I always looked, okay, which one is similar? And when it was, I'm like, okay, come on, Justin, can you just keep the same? So I don't need
I wish.
to load it again. But I guess it is the interaction, iteration, right? So you look at
Yep.
something, you see, oh, I could do better. And I do believe, because you have a private group, correct me if I'm wrong, you do get a lot of feedback from there, and that's kind of
Yep.
the things keeps on your mind, right?
Yep.
When someone talks about how that felt and stuff like
Yep.
that.
And we've had enough people that have been around really for 4 or 5 years now, where they've seen the evolution, and um, and they are very much frequent users of the app, and they like to be able to see where things were previously. So that alone is it's like a digital notebook that updates itself. It's fantastic in that regard.
Yeah, yeah, we certainly a bunch of the things. And again, at the time I was training and I'm following your. I do have an observation that I wrote here. You said PM5 is not hard. I completely disagree. I'm a software developer, and I look at those things. It's like
Once you know what
PM5.
you're doing, but like
Any monitor
at first it's
for
a
me
nightmare.
is a printer, is the worst hardware I can have in my house. So I love PM5 because it gives me the data I need, but
Yeah.
honestly, it's embarrassing if I need to sit down and write and input manually input the workout. I always look at it. I'm like, how do I do that again? And give you.
Because Thais never learned how to program the PM5. Like she had to start rowing because of ErgZone. So when she
Yeah.
started rowing, she already had the app that programmed for her. So she never like a interval variable, like where you change time, distance, and calories all together. Like it takes hours for her.
Yeah, it's like, and I may mess it up, and I wanna, of course, I'm able to do it, but I think I'm so focused and my habit on ErgZone, not only as the owner. So I'm like, how dare you not use ErgZone, but also as just feeling, oh, that's so hard, So it's very interesting,
In
but
certain workouts, like you need the app. Like there are certain workouts that have such a like it's not a straightforward work rest interval session where you don't want to use the app, or you want to use the app because you don't want it'll take just as long to punch it in manually as it will to do the workout.
Yeah, the current CTC one, right? This month's CTC,
Sure,
it's
like
a
no, you
Tabata.
just
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like it's either
no, yeah,
I have the app or I'm not doing it. Like that's not going to happen. So
yeah. No, that's great. So it's good, and like the feeling that you have, of course. which we asked you at the beginning, change the way you work, or adapt the way you work. And this is a very hard place where we think, especially I, because I talk to coaches and I kind of need to convince them why there is value on those things. It's not like
Yeah.
you're doing something wrong, is we created something better, or like just not, because we don't interfere on the coach's job as a coach. We just providing, I guess, a tool to
It's an
facilitate.
extension of their work, right?
Yeah.
How can we use this platform to help them deliver their training faster, more accurate, so the athletes can just do the workout,
Yeah.
right? That's the
Yeah, so
What?
just to let you know, go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, all I was gonna say, like, especially, I don't know when it changed, but there was a stretch of time where the app allowed you to go beyond what the PM5 was capable of. And for me, like, that was really exciting because the minimums that were like preset minimums weren't enough. Like, I wanted to kind of be able to do shorter distances, or less than 5 calories. And at that point, I was like, oh, great. Like, we can actually do true speed work. We don't have to just start at 100. We can go down to
Yeah,
50.
it's a
We can do
and
70s. And
it
so,
a lot of people were very upset, and people, even like this week, someone asked us, I'm like, I'm sorry, that's beyond our control what we
uh,
do on the PM5.
that was a
But
that was a bummer because, and we had a lot of stuff already programmed and saved, and actual, like, just set plans that originally had like 50-meter repeats. But I was like, oh well, crap! Like, now I got to go back and change these
yeah, we
to
were
100, and it like
shocked.
just changes the thing. Yeah, it was surprising.
Yeah, it
There's
was.
no there's no
Sorry.
there's no reason for it. Like, why
yeah.
would
We
they should
talked to
change their stuff
Yeah,
to allow for? So,
yeah.
anyways,
So we were surprised with the change, and I made like a very last minute post about it, because I woke up and people are upset because their PM5 is breaking and nothing working. What did you do? And then I'm like, oh, they made a major change on the firmware and we don't know. So, and then, so we talked to Concept 2 and we explained there is a technical reason why they chosen that. So that is not like out of nowhere. As software developers, we're always trying to find what's another way to solve the problem and try to solve without limiting something
yeah,
else. But we understand. And they couldn't change back. However, it is on our pipeline. We just need the day to be like
yeah the
50 hours.
yeah our goal is to allow any kind of splits. It doesn't matter if it's a
yeah,
small, but then ErgZone will have to control the session. It's not the PM5. It's gonna have to be either like a time, a just row, or like a timed workout that doesn't have any splits,
yeah.
and then ErgZone controls the session. So for the people that like a nice screenshot on the PM5, like that won't be for
Yeah.
them. But for the people that really want short splits,
Yeah.
then we can do the logic.
Because yeah, there is a lot of value on doing those things. And I don't do a lot of sprints, so I cannot tell you what's the difference for me. But if sprinters came to us and say, you know what, 100 meters is not like my first meters. I want to know what happened when I reach 10 seconds, like
Yeah.
that's important for me, even though there is something on the PM5 that the first couple of strokes, there is some calculations, in part of it, and I'm not going to be going details because I may say something that's not completely correct. But the whole point is the first few strokes, the data for the PM5 is not very accurate. So it's almost like
Yeah.
you have a couple and then they are able to calculate the proper after a while. But I told them that's not something that those people care for. They care for that little
No,
10 seconds, 15
right.
seconds or so.
Right.
Yeah, because they are comparing inaccurate data. It doesn't matter, but they know it's inaccurate, but they can compare those first 10, 20
Yeah.
meters, even though it's not accurate, but it's inaccurate on all of those, right?
Yeah.
So,
So,
And that's irrelevant. Whatever.
yeah.
yeah,
It is what
well,
it is.
it's coming, and it's good to know that it is, as you as a coach, is something that you experienced as well, because some specific people we knew would suffer from that, and I reach out to them. But it's something that I guess maybe we should prioritize at some point, just to be able to bring it back, again. So let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about GA games. So, and then to answer
Sure.
your question about when it happened, it was 2021, the first one
Okay.
you did, and it
Right.
was closed. And I remember I was excited because, like, okay, it's gonna be the first one with all three ergs. And then you were like, I'm not quite ready to go out there, but we
Yeah,
did it
I did.
internally.
Yeah, didn't want to have our first one put out to the public and there be issues. Because, I mean, when there were issues in competitions in the years leading up to that, like it was annoying and people were annoyed and people were, bickering online. I was like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, I just want, we're going to have a competition. Let's make sure this is going to run well. And I don't know what sort of problems are going to come up utilizing all three machines, in the format that we wanted. And really, the whole point of it was to test people across all three, not just rowing, not just skiing, not just biking. Let's have a competition that's going to test someone on all three. Because so many of our athletes have all three machines or have access to all three machines and like to use all three machines. It was nice to have a competition that could utilize all three, outside just the preset ergathlons that Concept 2 has created. And again, the app allowed that. So I also didn't want a competition that was going to take a month to complete. I think that was another thing. Like, what can we do over a weekend? Like, just
Mm-hmm.
Friday to Sunday. I never wanted something that was going to completely disrupt someone's training, yet still challenge them in a way that, makes a contest meaningful. And that's kind of where this came from. And really, the first year was.
Uh-oh. Are we
Am I
on?
freezing?
Yes, I'm here.
We're back.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. We were testing the functionality of the app. Is this going to work across all three machines? Are there any hiccups that we need to kind of iron out? And, you know, what's an appropriate amount of work for a 3-day event? We had programmed, I always wanted to try and program like, okay, this is probably 60 to 90 minutes of work in a day, which for a lot of athletes is sort of typical for a training session. Can we do that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday across all three? Will this work if someone's going to a gym to complete these sessions? And after that year, I think we kind of figured out a plan and had a good sense of what we could get away with in terms of programming and time and whatnot. And we opened up to the public in 22, and then again last year in 23. And the feedback was great. And the tricky part is figuring out, okay, what's a good weekend to do it? Now I'm off. I'm a high school teacher. I don't start for another 2 weeks. The end of August to me was like, this is perfect. I think we had originally done it kind of over Labor Day, thinking the Labor Day weekend might be best. But I think a lot of people didn't like that, so we moved it to the week before, if I'm remembering correctly. So like at the end of August. And to me, I was like, you know what, that's good. I don't go into work until like the final week of summer anyway. So if my last hurrah on that weekend, coming up now, is the games, then it's over. I can go to work next week and sort of focus on the school year coming up.
Yeah.
Now, is that ideal for everyone? I don't know. I don't know if a summer games earlier and a winter games perhaps, in December might be something to look at. Like, I'm not against doing two. I'm not against switching the date to a better time, and that'll come with feedback and whatnot. It's not like my livelihood is based around making sure the games are a success. This is a fun competition for the multi-erg enthusiasts who, want to test themselves and not feel like they're stuck for an entire month worrying about peaking on Saturday to get their event in, or doing 2 or 3 times. Like I always found as an athlete competing, whenever a competition came up, like I'm stuck in comp mode for 4 weeks. And if if the event gets posted on a Thursday and I have till Monday to complete it, well, there's 4 days of my life where I'm stressing about doing it. Do I do it early? Do I post early? Is this good enough? Should I wait and do it Saturday? Well, what if I screw up? What if I need to redo it? Now my Sunday is screwed. I'm like, oh, I hope I can get it in on time. There's too much stress every week for too long where I was like, why am I doing this? I don't need to do this. This is just supposed to be fun. Like a 3-day competition in my mind feels there's way less pressure. There's not enough time to redo things, so it's kind of like everything's a one and done. And you're only stressed for a couple days versus an entire month. If you're going to get
the workouts, right? Justin, you announced the workouts before, so people kind of know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I announced a few of them, not all of them. So some are a mystery. Like this year we announced 4 of the floater and then 1 each day. So everybody knows at least one event on Friday, at least one event on Saturday, at least one event on Sunday. There was a calendar. They at least knew which machines they'll need on each day, but they wouldn't necessarily know all of the workouts each day. So when we announce tomorrow night, I'll post the floater workout and I'll post both events for Friday tomorrow night, so Thursday night. And then we'll do the same thing Friday night for the Saturday events, and the same thing Saturday for the Sunday events. So I think this year's probably the least amount of volume compared to the last few. And that might just be me looking at how things went the past few years and thinking, okay, let's maybe compact things, because I know there's a lot of people that, there's 3 or 4 people at a gym sort of doing this together. I can't assume they're going to have all this time to complete, all these workouts, which is why we don't have really long workouts, the exact same reasons. Like it's not like there'll ever be like a half marathon row followed by a 2K ski followed by like a 20K bike. Like that's just not reasonable for the way this is set up. The endurance comes with the overall volume sort of packed into the 3 days.
That's cool. Yeah, I love that you explained how it came to be, because I think personally, I think that's very cool. You are the only one doing all 3 ergs. So even without the multi-erg or ErgZone that we call it, like multi-erg on ErgZone, just having the 3 machines, like I think it does change the format. And honestly, I would tell this, everybody who hosts competition, and especially people that haven't done anything, they want to do something. A lot of times the question is when, right? And it changes, a bunch of things. There are many factors out there. But honestly, I would say from every single competition that is on ErgZone, we always receive compliments. It's not a whole lot of people who give feedback, that's it. But we always hear people saying that how cool something is.
When is the next? Right?
So that is kind of, even sometimes the volume is low, it just makes us feel good that we're like providing them with means to find something fun and different. I actually, one of our clients, we visited them earlier this year, and he told me, well, I actually asked for my wife to allow me to take the weekend, because they have like a young kid, a couple of business and all the things, and it was his birthday weekend. So I guess his present would be, his gift would be, can I do this competition over the weekend? The GA games, because what he wanted to. It was last year, and I will tell you this. I saw he signed up this year too. So then I thought it was interesting, because like, well, I want to perform. He's an athlete and he want to perform well. So he's like, if I say I will do it, I want to do it. So I want to like
Yeah.
rest and eat and do all the things. So I guess it was his gift, was the permission to participate. And I thought was very cool.
Well, hey, I'm glad. That's great. I'm glad we can provide a little weekend adventure for him. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And we have other people, we have a couple completely new people to ErgZone recently that
That's
joined.
great.
I posted, and I think one of the things, I think one of the challenges too is get the word effectively out there. I know you post on places, but
I think Concept 2 reposted as well.
yeah, I think that brought a couple people, new people too. So it's good. Like I feel it's just trying to explore.
Yeah,
But
like it'd be nice to have the largest competition possible. Like it'd be great to have 100 people. Even be great to have 50. I think last year we were around 40. Now, part of the problem is like you need all three, and not everyone has all three. Like you could easily do a rowing competition over 3 days, and you probably get more people because more people just have access to the rowing machine. Like out of all three machines, that's the one that the majority of people probably have at home, right? Um, and that could be part of the problem, but that's not a big deal. This isn't like um, it doesn't have to be for hundreds of people. Like the fact that it might be a weekend competition for 30 folks, and it's a little bit of prize money that goes back to them anyways. It's not like this is a profiting thing for me. Like you end up
yeah,
spending more money than it is anything. So that's great. And if it gets more people on the app, if it gets more people on Concept 2 machines, if it gets, a guy thinking, oh man, if I only had the bike, I could do this. And he ends up getting one. And now, someone's got all three machines. So, that's a win right there, right?
yes, definitely. Like more people, or for everybody. I feel like that's our main goal on Nerd Zone is that like we all grow together. Like the machines we connect to, people may be interested. We can offer what we have to people who have the machines we're
They
connecting,
can find coaches.
and they can find coaches, and coaches can
Yeah.
find a new, like reach out to other people. So that's for sure. We came up with the tagline, let's connect, and ErgZone is really that. It started by connecting the phone to the machine, but then the coaches to athletes, the athletes together, and a whole lot,
Community, yeah.
a whole lot of more. So is there anything else, like specifically? I think we kind of touched part. Well, we didn't touch about the training plans. You probably is one of the coaches that had a lot of training plans already on your website when we came up with the marketplace to sell training plans. And
Yeah.
honestly,
The nice thing well, because, yeah, I started with creating basically downloadable PDF files. And then being able to add a link like, hey, if you don't want a copy, if you'd rather have this uploaded to your PM5 automatically, you can get this plan on ErgZone. Like, click here. Again, it's another avenue to get people the plans they want, and it's nice that for an athlete that might start to bank all of these plans, like other than the upfront cost, it's not like they're going anywhere. Last year I got this 5K plan. I remember it was great. It's 8 weeks. Let's do it again. So they have access to all these, and that's especially for the people that don't necessarily need feedback or need a coach. Like they're established, they know how to train. They just need guidance. It's a fantastic avenue to get.
yeah,
It's
when we
annoying to have to set up, and I have so many plans and I'm behind. I think I have 3 or 4 that you guys have kind of set up for me that are still sitting empty. And like this summer, someone asked like, hey, is the middle distance ergathlon plan available on ErgZone? And I go and I'm like, no, it's not right now. It's waiting for me to. And then I take a weekend and like put the workouts in and then make sure everything's set, and then let them
Well,
know, like, yeah, oh, it is now.
yeah.
It's available. So
Let's talk, because that's another thing that I always think about. How can we keep supporting people? Of course, I
right.
cannot load training for anybody, but maybe we can find a way to collaborate and get whatever else is not there. I I've been training, so since I started erging, I went from working out with you, trying something else with other coaches on the ski, and I went back. So I always trying new things, not because I don't necessarily like what I'm doing. It's just
It's
I feel a lot of
exploring.
times I
Yeah.
need to test something. I need to test a new content on ErgZone or a new machine or something else that Gabriel came up with and I tested. So I love it, but I am a person that needs a plan. I need
Yeah.
to know what I'm doing. ErgZone, I have thousands of workouts. So I'm the person that could open the app and find, I will do this thing. It doesn't motivate me. I need a structure. So
Yeah.
it's fun that I decided I was doing. I don't even know.
And there's new one, the multi
Well, I
huh?
told you, I asked you, I'm gonna do your 2K plan, and I started went to
Yeah.
Brazil, and I had the erg, and was wishful thinking because I didn't have the time to do it or energy a lot of times because we were going all over the place. But so then after erg Olympics that I did the multi erg, I said, you know what, I will do the ergathlon middle distance. So Monday I'm starting
And
that,
I'm
and
glad I put it on.
yes, and I will not do the sprints. So I'm doing it. And my whole point is I will test your plan and I will test this kind of plan on ErgZone,
Yeah.
and I will test more multi-erg and find the things our clients have. So that's what happens to my trains a lot. So a lot of times I'm working out and I'm looking and I'm like, I really need to test something. So my mind is split between,
Training and
training
testing
and
her.
testing, which drives me insane, but it's
Hold,
good. Yeah.
hold on.
So
My dog ended up outside. I'm gonna let her
oh,
in really quick.
okay, of course.
She just came
No,
around to. That was funny. Sorry.
no, you're fine. So
I'm
is there
like, who's this
anything else
animal
that
coming
you
in my
want?
garage? Like, oh,
Random?
sorry.
It was your dog.
Yeah, it was my. Well, she was inside, and now I had this perfect setup. She was inside, and then I saw her at the back door, like this way, and then this shadow on my right. Oh, this isn't gonna work anymore. There's this shadow on my right. I kind of look over, and there's our dog, Mia. And she's not supposed to be out there, so I'm not sure how she got out. I gotta go check the gates after we're done. But it's
Yeah.
all good. We're fine.
So no, you're fine. So I think we touched everything for this first chat, and I will have a script of some of the things that we found like on our website later, so people can find. It was great. We're excited to see the games happening this weekend. So for everybody who doesn't know, it starts on Friday. So people have until Friday, right? Until the time you open the first workout to do it. When do you close registration?
Tomorrow, Thursday,
Tomorrow.
Thursday.
at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. So
And
tomorrow you
we
okay.
we did that, like we shifted things because I don't know what the time difference is, but there's enough people globally that kind of jump into this stuff where okay, it's like it's almost a day ahead for me, like it's the evening before. So if you happen to be training in and around this time zone, you have basically all of Friday available to you, right? So everything gets put like we post things, we release things the evening ahead. So I think what is that? Is that early morning in Australia
Australia,
potentially
Yeah.
on the
yeah,
Friday
they're
anyway?
here.
So
Yeah.
they get it early Friday and then it's available until
Awesome.
whenever. So
Okay.
it'll first yeah. So we close tomorrow at 9, and that's when I'll post and make the events live, and then the Friday ones will close Friday night, and that's when we post the Saturday stuff. And the same thing
Okay.
happens on Saturday for the Sunday.
Awesome. Yeah, great. And I will also share, of course, all your content you have with us for people to kind of find out more about you. Justin, thank you so much for everything. You know, thank you for
Thank
being
you
supportive.
guys.
Yeah, thank you for being supportive of what we were doing in the beginning, for opening your group for us when nobody knew who we were,
Oh, it
and
was a pleasure.
letting me be on in there and talk to your athletes, you know, and bootstrap and figure it out, troubleshoot, all the things. So we are very
Yeah,
thankful.
ErgZone would not be here without you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
we appreciate it. I'm happy that we were around to, help you guys get established and figure things out, and
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And let's keep making more people go to the ergs, keep fit, feel encouraged and like they belong. And I think that's what I loved a lot. And not only your group is not only the only one, but it's very good. You know, I tell people all the time that they always think those things you and other coaches put out there or even competitions are for the top athletes. And I say yes, the top athletes know ErgZone and understand the value of ErgZone, but going on a challenge, on a competition, or doing the same workouts that other people, I know I'm never gonna be on the same level as some of the ladies on your group, you know, but that doesn't discourage me. It's about the progress and about my journey,
Yep.
you know. But it's always good to see what other people are doing. Perhaps in a
Yep.
few years down the road, if that's your priority, you may be there or not. But
Yep.
it's just a community, you know.
Yep.
I think that's great.
It is. I love it.
I know,
We love it.
I know you do. We do too. Well, thank you, Justin. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will chat soon. Again
Yeah, we
soon.
gotta chat. Hold on, I'll get you over here because we gotta talk about these soon, right? These
Yes.
fan bikes.
oh yeah,
Yes. We need to load
Oh, I think I'm losing. You're
a training
freezing. I
plan
don't
on
think
the
I'm getting a
road.
good connection.
Yes, you did. So we need to load a rogue plan. So if you have it, let's do it because it is it's working. People will need the new monitor, the V3, because it's the only one with Bluetooth. We do have things to, it's not, let's put out there yet.
it's very alpha.
He's very alpha, but a lot of people, you know, one like Morgan is one of them. Quentin, is that his name? How I say it? Was your athlete? He's being. They're buying a V3 just to use ErgZone, which makes us so happy, you know. And
Great.
I need Rogue to listen to it and say like, we're literally selling equipment for you because we now connect to our machine and people want to upgrade their Rogue to connect.
Yeah, I have like the original monitor, so clearly I need to like get on and get a new one and
Yeah.
retrofit it or do whatever. So, anyways,
So yeah, let's make that happen. And let's keep like bringing more people, and we'll chat soon privately
yeah,
about how we keep reaching even more people.
deal. Okay.
Okay. Have a good back to school next week, follow week.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.